All right, let's take a look at this. Shopify Rebellion. They take the place of TSM. Fake God, Boogie, Insanity, Bvoy, Zazel. Yo, Zazel has made a name for himself, not gonna lie. He's been fucking dominating Academy for as long as I remember. And he has good experience. I think that makes sense, you know? I think aesthetically, I have to say, I don't know what Bvoy has been up to. But I don't see why he would want to move away from Wild Turtle. I think you keep Wild Turtle here. Why are you making anything weird here? Just keep Wild Turtle here, man. Just let the Wild Turtle play. Like Bvoy is he's such a weird player, Bvoy, because it's such a player that just keeps showing up. Bro, look at this timeline, blood. Korea, China, LATAM, EU, Brazil, LATAM, Brazil. Weird. I don't know. I have to see the other ones. FlyQuest. I have to say, this is like Support is such a weird role in NA. Because ever since the downfall of Code J.J. and also, you know, Vulcan not performing on FlyQuest, the situation has been very weird support-wise. I think though, considering you need a native North American, I think Busio is a good signing. He had some fine games, like rough around the edges. I believe Busio, this was his first year of playing, right? Like he hasn't played, this was his first year. So I think it's like, that's a solid signing, you know? That's a solid signing. You can't get Code J.J., you can't get Vulcan. I think Ole is also an interesting signing. Just aesthetically, right? Because he counts, I believe, as a non-import. I might be crazy here. Does Ole count as a non-import? So that's like interesting, you know? So it's like Ole, in terms of seeing him play in Korean solo queue, that's like a positive look for me, you know? He did have like these, I don't want to minimize the personal pressures players go through to say that he was just choking, but we had that incident where he couldn't play, and I don't know if his life experience that he's gathered has made him a more, let's say, complete competitive player. That'll be interesting to watch. Nevertheless, Busio, you need a North American, solid signing. I think Inspired and Whippo, they can definitely compete to be the best in their position in the region. Jensen, I think Jensen is like, I don't think Jensen was super exciting this year. I feel like Jensen, you know, at this point, is like holding on to a job, you know? He's holding on to a job. I don't think Jensen is super exciting. I don't think it was super exciting last year, even though the team was quite uninteresting. But, you know, this guy, Jensen, has the best agent of all time, no offense. The thing is, we have the same agent. How fucking... we have the same agent. We have the same agent. Would you prefer to have Bjergsen instead of Jensen? Bjergsen doesn't want to play, so I'm not gonna force anyone to play at gunpoint. I think that Bjergsen's last year was probably worse than what we saw out of Jensen. Keep in mind, guys, you're all suggesting names of players that can't play because they need an NA resident. They need an NA resident. And I think that they saw that they can get Whippo inspired, and then they worked from there. And then if you look at the mid lane residents, right, that are inspired as green card? Really? Damn! Really? He got married? No way. That's sick. Damn. Inspired set to become North American resident for 2024. Damn! I didn't know. That's crazy. Then yeah, like Abadagio, Nemesis. This would have been crazy moves. Nemesis in this team? Woo! And I don't know anything about Masu. Let's take a look at Masu. What's Masu been up to? All right. He's got that Twilight look. All right. Nemesis said if Fly was EU, he would have joined. All right. All right. Well, there you go. Some FlyQuest system. Some FlyQuest system rock and roll. Okay. All right. I think this is like serviceable. I don't think I need to see the other teams, but I don't go to this team to be the team to be like the team that is gonna break through. Team Liquid, Impact, Umti are the changes. So they are keeping and maintaining the full Korean identity here. I think Impact is fantastic. I think Impact is really, really good. I think Impact, any team is happy to have that guy on the team. I think Impact will always be like solid. I think that Impact will never be a liability. He will carry some games, and he, has I like Impact. Umti, not gonna lie, I don't get Umti here. To be honest, I didn't get Pioshik either. Like, I don't get it. APA, Eon, CoJJ. My issue with this team, right, is that if I look at what brought them success, last year, it was actually like Pioshik and Summit, like literally 1v9 in games. And they did so, hiding the weakness that was bot in a lot of cases. But I have to say that CoJJ and Eon did improve over the year. So maybe that's the angle. APA, I think they had a solid first split too. So I'm sure there's a lot of room to grow there too, APA, there was a lot of discussion. It's like, Summit flamed him, called him a fucking Ziggs OTP. Fucking Pioshik flamed him too. I think that, even though I think that their points are true, You don't fucking say this shit publicly ever. Because then...
Battle cruiser operational.
Sorry guys, sometimes I pause because it's very hard for me to speak because I'm sick. So forgive me, I'm very sick. Like sometimes it's so hard for me to talk. That's why like I pause a lot. So, even though the criticism towards APA was fair, I think that to say it publicly removes all the context. This was a guy that got thrown into the mix in the middle of the split and did a very serviceable job. They wouldn't have qualified towards playing with the other mid laner. Harry. He had some of the worst RC games of all time, and I feel very bad for the guy, you know, like that shit was mental. Yeah, I thought the LS defending APA arc was very weird. Like, he was saying that he plays a shit ton of champions, but he just doesn't pick them. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? So, bro, if you don't fucking pick them, you don't fucking play them, mate. Like, APA played Ziggs, he played Cassio, he played Nico, he had like a Xerath in there and like some Aurelion Soul, but like a lot of these champs, they are like useful 1% of the games that are being played, so they really don't matter, you know? They don't matter until they actually do, you know? And that is dependent on a lot of other factors. So, still, I want to add the fact that APA played half a split, went to Worlds, and I think that he can, you know, grow a lot. So, I'm happy that he gets another chance. I think he deserves that much. Alright, here I am lost. Here I only know Quid, I only know Ayla. I'm happy to see Sniper finally play. This Blood's been hyped up for very long. He's a young sniper, you know? I remember this guy got signed when he was like fucking 8 or something, bro. He was fucking signed when he was 14 and people gassing him up, you know? This guy, he's carrying the shoulders of any talent on his shoulders, you know? Like he's definitely shouldering a lot of burdens coming into this, you know? Oh yeah, I do know River. Jesus Christ, River is there. Yeah, the River is a gangster signing, bro. Alright, River is a great signing. It's like 100 Thieves are very happy to have River, but I think that the River should be very unhappy to be here. That's where I'm at. I think Quid, he had a very disappointing split, bro. Very disappointing, bro. He cracked under the pressure and he really like wasn't it, mate. He really wasn't it, man. Maybe if I'm gonna play the Angel's advocate here, like maybe he's gonna figure out some of those issues, you know, in the choking department. Maybe he can perform better, because I did see him in solo queue pre 100 Thieves. I was like, okay, this play is fine. I saw him in solo queue post 100 Thieves, and I saw him play Champions, like not Champions queue, but World solo queue. He's not it, man. Not it. So, Ayla, another one, man. It's like, Ayla blood. This is, I think, highlights the issue I have with North American supports, you know? It's just, Ayla encompasses all of that, you know? Mechanically very stiff, very paycheck stealer-esque. I recommend, if you're a mid laner out there and you're hurt by the fact that there's only 8 jobs on the Rift, fucking reload to support and steal all of these people's jobs. You know? And then you're good. I don't know much about Meech. Meech. Blood has been on some teams. Damn! All right. All right, I can't say anything about this guy. At least, you know, you give a chance to a new guy instead of like, you know, getting someone importing Bvoy, you know? Aesthetically, that looks more appeasing to me, but could be that Bvoy just smokes his ass, right? Could be. All right. Cloud9. Fudge, Blabber, Jojopune, Berserker, Vulcan. It's like at this point, Cloud9 and NRG are the two best rosters, by far. Jojopune going to C9, I think that's an upgrade. I think the issue with Eminence was that he thought that he was way better than he was. And I think he made the team worse because of it. You know, at some point, you have to look to your right and see, wow, Berserker is sitting there. I'm going to really do everything I can to make sure that Berserker has a great game. It's like, Whippo is really good at this. He was like, wow, my bot lane, if they're ahead, they carry. So I'm gonna TP bot. I'm gonna TP bot. Bro, if I told you who they tried to get here in top, this roster could have been Giga Gangster if they got the top laner that they wanted. I will leave that little seed. Wasn't it Wunder? Okay, then it's public. Okay, good. It's public. Oh, it's public. It's public. It's public. That would have been sick. For them. I do think that Wunder made the better decision for himself. Because I think that the only reason you would want to join C9, if you still have that competitive edge, is if you want to stay in North America for a couple of years. And not about money. It's like joining Cloud9 can be better than joining a couple of teams in Europe too. Let's be honest. But if you go to North America, you're not going there for 1 year, man. What's the point of going there for 1 year, man? But now if you stay in Europe and you do great in 1 year, you have a lot more visibility and you will, of course, be able to transfer to the stronger team or rebuild the team to become stronger, you know? Does Wunder need visibility though? You always do. You always do. It's not about, you're thinking about the wrong kind of visibility. He has the legacy, but if Wunder, I know as a player, he wants to be competitive, he can be competitive, he can go to the World Championship and do good against some of the best players. That's Wunder. That's the visibility that you want, the recent visibility, you know? But of course, Wunder has the legacy. He's, for me, the GOAT top laner of the LEC. All right, bunch of names here that I know little about. I am keen to see Ole here, though. By the end of it all, I think that C9 NRG, they are the big winners. I think that a team that might limp in here, right behind them, honestly, in my mind, it has to be between these two. I think that this is a more well-rounded team, but I think that inspired Whippo, they are powerful enough forces to just rock and roll, mate. So I think NRG, C9, I would probably put C9 top 1. I think that NRG, like their support change, I think is negative. I think Ignar was really fucking good for them. Like Ignar performed insanely good in NRG's run to win it all. So I definitely think that's a downgrade. But it is probably the best downgrade they could have made. If that makes sense, you know? Well, you should put NRG second. Okay. So, if you want the tier list, I think we just do kind of top threes. It's like C9 first, NRG second. I'm gonna put FlyQuest third, Shopify Rebellion fourth. That's where my headspace is at. I don't know who they're gonna put here. So probably Tomo and Pumi are gonna stay. Poom. Wasn't Huhi big choker in GG? No. They just played bad against BDS. Alright. Oki Brian. Morgan. Gideon. Caris. Envy. Gideon was okayish. Continue. Rusko, Sponge, C-Tab, Paduk, Pliata. Bro, I don't know much about these players. I'm not gonna lie. When I watch LCK, I watched Gen.G games, KT games, T1 games, and there's one team that I'm missing. KT, Gen.G, Damon. Those were the 4 teams I was watching. And most of the time when they played off against the other teams, they were just smacking them around. Hanwha Life too, but honestly, I gave up on Hanwha Life after a time. After some time, Hanwha Life just was rough, mate. It was rough. KT roster, Pyoshik, BDD, Deft. I think this will be downgraded no matter what, no? KT Beryl, they're doing a reunion. Beryl, okay. Who's playing top? Is there a rumor for top? The KT top is their academy, okay. I think yeah, I will not get excited with this team. Maybe that's the trick, you know. Maybe that's their plan. Live Sandbox, Clear, Willer, Closer, Henna, Jonghoon. I have to say, I don't know if this was leaked or not, but Live Sandbox were approaching a lot of, not a lot, but a couple of LEC players. They wanted to import Europeans. All I say is, it was in this position. But that's all I say. That's all I say. That's all I say, guys. All right, Dplus Kia. Kingen, bro, Lucid. I've heard a lot of good things about Lucid. But he's taking the place of Canyon. I've seen Lucid play too in solo queue. Solid. Where is Thanatos? Bro, Kingen is solid. I don't think Kingen is bad. I don't think Kingen is bad. People are gonna hate Kingen, but I don't think Kingen is bad. I think Kingen is misunderstood. I think these guys needed to fight over Burial, bro. Guangdong Freaks only have Bulldog. Bulldog is solid. I like Bulldog. These nuts, Fiesta, How Alive Esports, Doran, Peanut, Zeka, Viper, Delight. Boo. Damn. I think Zeka is still good, by the way. It's like... This is a very good LCK team. I choose my words very specific. This is a very good LCK team. But I feel that I feel like such a team will have a hard time breaking into top 4, you know? But it's gonna be a very, very, you know, good team to watch, you know? This is gonna be a very, very, very good team to watch. You know, the funniest thing would be now, the thing is, it's like Doran and Peanut and Zeka, bro, they can have horrible games. What if Viper just gets completely griefed here? We're just gonna have like the worst side of Doran for a whole year. The worst side of Peanut. Because Viper, he like did like a monkey paw wish, you know? Where he's like, I want to win worlds and have a legacy, and then he's just cursed to have the worst form of his teammates ever. T1. Honestly, guys, this roster is not that good. Just kidding. T1, the beautiful thing about this T1 and how they won the World Championship, there is no roster you can construe in the off-season without seeing any gameplay that you're gonna say that they're gonna beat T1 convincingly. T1 walk into the next year with the same roster, meaning that they come into the next year as favorites. Obviously, things can change. But I don't know how you build a roster to like beat them. I think if anything, Gen.G have done that, you know? Gen.G have done that. I can easily see How Alive beating them, yes, but I'm talking about the World Championship, okay? How Alive definitely has, they have got this fucking anti-T1 thing going on here, right? For sure. But if you look at Gen.G, like let's say they had Ruler instead of Pays. Then you'd be like, okay, if these players play at their peak, woo, woo, yeah, that could be crazy. But yeah, T1 managing to consolidate this roster, I think it really opens up really wide conversations about Gumayushi's legacy, Keria's legacy, Zeus's legacy, and also Owner's legacy. Because now it opens up the door for these players to become the best, the greatest players of all time in their position. Zeus can make the argument for being the best top laner of all time. He already has arguments, and now he's going to make more arguments. Gumayusi, Kiria, same thing, you know? They are making arguments. Honor 2. It's like, if you look at Gumayusi's career, okay? Just look at Gumayusi's career. First of all, he's 21. He's born 2002, blood. Okay. So he was a trainee, okay? Trainee, and then he was a sub, and he was a sub, and then he jumped in. Then he got benched. You guys remember that fucking crazy fucking roster boogaloo? Look at the career he simply has had. How it's insanity, no? Look at the fucking trophy cabinet here. A bunch of second places, lack of trophy, but you get my point. It's like, this has been the guy's career. I fucked him up there with the whole trophy cabinet thing, but. Regional Finals, Worlds, LCK Spring Playoffs. This is a wonderful career. And the same is true for everybody else involved, right? Like, Zeus started here. Haha. Honestly, Zeus's career looks more beautiful because of that. The fact that he started here. All right. Yeah, my point was still, like, these players are now building arguments for being the greatest player of all time in their position. You know, when you think of AD carries, right? You think of, like, Bang, Ruler, Uzi, right? Deft. Now, Gumayusi is cooking, you know? Right? Gumayusi is cooking. Gumayusi is cooking. I would not consider Guma until he was like 2 more years at the same level. Guys, you have to listen to the language. I'm not saying he's the GOAT. I'm saying they have an opportunity to build more arguments. That's what's exciting about this roster. They are this year and the next year and the year after, they are building arguments. Because this year was like this World Championship is a fucking nice fucking check mark. You know? And they're all very early on in this career. Only thing I would say as a slight counterpoint is how these players looked without Faker. I think that's unfair. Because I think Poby was not ready. I agree with the notion that Faker is very important for T1. But I think that you can't see the effect of removing a single player. It's like Faker's legacy was already fucking borderline perfect, but it got like such a beautiful boost this year, right? But pull out a player from a lot of teams and replace them with an academy player that is not ready, and they will look a lot worse. Like you think Gen.G, if you replace Poby with Chovy, that's gonna be like, do we really need to remove a player to like understand how important he is, you know? Nevertheless, I think it goes both ways. You know, I'm just careful with this because I don't want to. I don't like giving this argument too much credit because I think that a big part of the community uses that argument as something. You know, the difference Faker was called the worst player on the team. I think there were definitely times where Owner and Faker were were not performing well on T1. That's definitely true. They were liabilities against other teams. And that's okay. And that's okay, you know? Because I think to admit that gives more cause to celebrate the World Championship performance. Gen.G, I have to say, it's like, goes without saying, on paper, individually, they are insane. But my concern here, right, is that Canyon is not the same player as Peanut. They are opposites. And Chovy is not the same player as Showmaker. And I say that because for Canyon, Showmaker, when they won the World Championship and got to finals, he was one of the most selfless and most precise players of all time. I think that's insanely important. I have to say though, I think that Lehend's Canyon, if I look at anything, that's what makes me excited. I know a lot of people are high on Delight, which is perfectly fair. I think Delight was the best performing support if you look at the whole year of LCK last year, right? Career at the World Championship and during spring was a fucking machine, a monster, right? But Delight had a fucking really good year. Because even all the way till the end, when Gen.G lost, he was fucking almost carried them to beat Bilibili. Right? Canyon Lehens, I think that's a pairing that kind of works. They are squeezers. These two are squeezers. I think this is a pairing that could kind of work. This part is kind of interesting to me. But when I look at Chovy and Keen, I think Peanut is the guy that would fit way better there. But this is, of course, you know, just doing team 1+1 math. Things don't need to be that simple. Because in the end, you have a very complicated structure to the dynamic, right? I think that this is a team that can have high highs, but I think that this is a team that can also really, you know, fall flat. I wouldn't be surprised if this team goes like 16-1, 17-1 in regular split, and then they just fucking, they don't do well because they haven't been forced to actually create a solid foundation on how they play together. And I think that in the long run, that can hurt them, you know? But then the question is, right? If Chovy and the coaching staff can carry the identity of past Gen.G and give that to the players here, I think that could be very interesting. Because we need to understand where that comes from. If we think of Gen.G's identity, you think of a team that plays very disciplined and collected. Mata is the new coach. Oh. Well, that changes everything. Mata is the new coach, and Coach Kim. Coach Kim. Coach Kim, world champion Coach Kim. IG Coach Kim. Longzhu Coach Kim. Samsung Coach Kim. Damn. Damn. Bro, this just reeks, you know, of too good to be, too good to work. You get me? This just sounds too good to work. I don't know. Individually, insane. Individually, really, really good. But the thing is, these three players, they're some of the most selfish players that you can find in their position. So we shall see. Bro, the last time I saw Canyon skip a camp to gank, bro, it's been a while, bro. We have some CSD Andes, you know? And that's still fucking good, by the way. They'll be able to win against really strong players at Worlds, you know? So, we shall see. I think it goes without saying. I think T1 number 1, Gen.G number 2, How Life number 3. I think that Gen.G has a higher potential, but I think these guys will reach a sense of consistency that will last, you know? I think these guys will definitely reach like a level of consistency that, you know, could be fantastic. But I think it goes without saying what I wanted to add about Gen.G, like seeing Canyon on a different team, that to me is super exciting. Maybe we'll see Canyon the go back, you know? The thing is, Coach Kim, guys. Coach Kim, let me show you guys the history of Coach Kim. If you don't know Coach Kim, so I asked Gorilla, how was it to work with Coach Kim? He said, you know how he described him? You know how he described him? He described him as Genghis Khan. He described him as Genghis Khan. Where is he? So, Samsung Galaxy, Dignitas for 2 months, Longzhu Gaming. So, what I noticed when I looked into this dude, right, was that the top laners of the teams that he's been working on, they were absolute machines, man. Absolute machines. Longzhu was Khan. You guys remember Khan? They won splits and then he got 3-0'd by Samsung because of the meta. IG, he joined May 2018, won Worlds. Peace the fuck out. A little Damwon Gaming. You guys remember a little chap called Noguri? They won Worlds the year after, just to make that clear. but the Guri was already popping here. We had Cannon T1, Billy, DRX. I didn't know he was on DRX for 1 month. Bro, the main thing that is kind of scary, man, is, bro, that's like, he has like 1 month here, he has 2 months here. Like, the reason I was explained to me that he was called Genghis Khan was that he's very, very harsh, bro. Very harsh. Very demanding, like, very on you, you know? And some players, they react well to that. So we shall see. We shall see. But let's be honest, you know, he has a fucking track record. We need more of that in esports. Bring back gaslighting and verbal harassment. Good to see you, Don Jake. Well, there we go, Mata as well, and Helper. Damn. All right. I think everyone's been waiting for this. Let's be honest. Everyone's been waiting for this. Everybody. So, I'm not gonna make a tier list. I'm not gonna make a tier list because there's definitely like some gaps in my information, okay? And I don't wanna assume things just because I don't know, all right? So, Mad Lions. Let's start here. It's hard to imagine that this is not a fucking downgrade. So, I've seen some games of Super. I've seen some games of Alvaro. I've seen some games of Frescoe. And some games of Mirwin. A lot of games of Elioya. So, keep in mind, people like to clown on Mad Lions. But they were the second best team in Europe last year. If you look at the whole year, in terms of results, okay? At the end of it, of course, Fnatic was the better team. I'm adding this caveat, right? Because I cannot imagine a world where Mad Lions are gonna do better than that with this roster. I personally haven't seen anything, which is a very limited sample size. I haven't seen anything from the guys that they've hired that makes me believe that they're gonna be like amazing. I think that they've shown me enough to believe that, oh, these guys maybe deserve like a shot. But this is definitely like, you know, a case of let's put together our group of guys and let's see how far that takes us, you know? Because I can tell you this, having a buy-in that has been brewing for a very long time can be very beneficial. The fact that I'm assuming that Mad Lions are working from a place where everyone's on the same page about what they want to be and what they want to become. And that can be very, very powerful. So even though personally I'm not so excited about this, this is not a team that I would want to like underestimate, because there was a level of intention behind everything that he did. I think in the end, I think a lot of pressure is on Elioya, because I think Elioya had, I think they had a fine year. When Mad was good, he played good. When Mad was playing bad, he was also playing quite bad. And I think that there had to be some bitterness and sourness to the whole situation of Elioya not being released and him wanting to, there was a conversation, I remember the rumors, I don't know if he wanted to or whatever, I don't want to pin that to anyone, but someone, there was this conversation about him joining G2, whatever the fuck, there's a bunch of rumors there, right? This roster was rumored for such a long time. It must have not felt good to play under the circumstances of last year, So, we shall see. I think that, they seem to believe strongly in this idea, and I think that can be powerful, but other than that, from outside, I'm not super excited. I need to see more, But I will not underestimate these guys. This is just a group of homies that should be bought in from the get-go in terms of what they believe to be true, But there is very little LEC experience on this team. Very little LEC experience. There's very little LEC experience here. Let's be honest. You guys can sub to remove the ads. Team BDS. They kept everybody and they removed Crowny. And they introduced Ice. So Ice is the guy from Zero Tenacity, right? This was weird, because BDS was that project that could achieve more. I think that these are players with very clear, glaring issues that you can work on. It seems to me that from outside, it looks to me that the change of Ice for Crowny was a philosophical one, not a gameplay one. So, I still think when it came to BDS's highest highs, I think that was driven by Crowny. But Crowny was not that good at Worlds. But I think that when you make a roster and you are the team that is the fourth to qualify, then you don't change your roster based off of Worlds, mate. You just don't. And let's be honest, if you're BDS, are you making this change because you want to do better at Worlds? Your goal should be to do better regionally first. So, I still think like Shio, he has things to work on, right? When it came to when he had initiative level 1, it seemed that he could figure games out, There was a period where he was very good at hitting beats, but then he was very inconsistent. I think Labrov is a very strong player. I think Labrov is a strong support. I think he's a solid one. Adam, I think that Adam as a player, I've said this so many times, if he just played what everyone else plays and uses the Darius and the Garen as a fucking weapon, it would have been so much better. I don't think that, I don't know how the scrim theory or the approach for BDS is in terms of his practice, But the fact that he hasn't, like, the thing is, you say if he plays meta, it'd be so much worse. Guys, I worked with Adam for a split. I know that Adam plays really good Aatrox as an example. He plays a solid Camille. He plays champs, by the way. He plays them. And if you want to look at the development of a player, you need to be able to take a risk to move in that direction. It's just that the strength of being able to play the Darius and the Garen and the so forth becomes a liability if those bans hurt you. He has a wide champion. He said himself on stream BDS needed him to play so to beat champs to win games. That's a kind of weird thing to say. I think that you kind of throw your team under the bus by saying that. I think it's not a good thing to say. But if you look, if from Adam's perspective, right? If I spoke to Adam, I'd be like, for your own sake, you need to take risks and expand yourself, you know? Because people should be scared of it, but they shouldn't be able to predict it. There are no great laners in LEC that could punish him for picking random stuff. There's been series where that happened. There's been series straight up where Adam was a complete non-factor. And keep in mind, I don't say this to flame him. I'm just stating it as a fact, you know? Because Adam for sure was the strongest top laner, for the strongest player on BDS at the World Championship. But Chasey fisted him, BB fucked him, Evie solo killed him, you know? I think that Wunder did a good job against him. So, I think Adam as a player has the potential to grow, you know? But I think that if he ingrains himself in that identity more, I think that that's a mistake. That's a big mistake. Nevertheless, I think on paper, this to me, from what I know about ICE, it looks like a downgrade. Maybe this is like a philosophical change. Striker moving to head coach, I think is interesting, right? So internally, they've noticed some things, right? But you know, Go2One was with them for 2 years and did super well with them. Of course, in the EU Masters was a part of this year, so we have to see how that dynamic changes. But yeah. XL Esports. I think limit was important, I think. Limit was important. I think Limit deserves praise for XL's run to the finals. I think he fell off a little bit there, and I think that Ignar had very good summer and very good worlds too. I think that Ignar is a very good and strong experienced player, and maybe he can get more out of Peach. There was this comment from Gilius. He said, this program that they did, basically their analysts found Peach, and the same analyst now found Jackie's to then replace Abadagio. And now they have this bias that their decision surrounding Peach is positive. But I don't think Peach was that solid of a player, mate. So we shall see. And to be fair, you know, I've talked to a lot of analysts, and we are definitely moving into a position where you can determine player skill through... The thing is, it's not the usage of raw stats, it's the comparison of the right stats on specific champions that allows you to decipher who is performing good on specific champions, and then through that decide how good they are. Because you can create aggregates of the best performing players, and then you can fine tune it. So when people say stats, it's not like, oh, this guy has good KDA. That's not what people are doing, okay? They have collected 12 to 15 set of stats at certain time in the game that they believe are crucial, and then they compare it to the other opposition, all the other players playing that same champion. They're not comparing it, oh, this guy played Silas, they're comparing it to Orianna game, this guy is 10 CS ahead, this guy is minus 10 CS ahead. That's not what they are doing. They are creating aggregates based off of specific champion statistics, and they're comparing it to every other. So if you're playing Silas, they're comparing your Silas to every other Silas on the server. And then they fine-tuned it. And then they fine-tuned it, and they fine-tuned it. And then eventually you'll begin to see some truth. Some truth. Because in the end, what you want to find is certainty. Finding absolute certainty is very difficult. Very difficult. But the point is that getting close to it gives you some very good places to start. Because I can tell you this as an example. I've talked to maybe 6 different people that have built tools like this. You guys want to guess who's the number 1 jungler in Europe for every tool? It's Bo. It's Bo, and it isn't even close. And then, if I remember correctly, in a lot of cases, second place was Razork. You know? First on what? On the point of performance in solo queue. Of course solo queue, guys. That's biased? No, it's not. Nah, you guys... Ugh. You guys don't get it. So I repeat. I'm going to try to explain this one more time because it's worth it. Okay? Solo queue in solo queue, you have access to so much more data than competitive. And also competitive data, now that's biased data, right? Because you're going to be playing on different teams, different level teams, and it shifts completely, right? If T1 wins 10 games with Maokai, it's not as significant as a bottom shit team winning 10 games with Maokai, right? Now that's biased stats, if anything, right? Solo queue has a sample size, and also you're measured against competition, right? You're measured against competition, right? The point being, right, is in solo queue, you have such a big volume of data that, let's say you have a player play 50 games of Lee Sin, and then over a certain time span, right, his gameplay of Lee Sin is going to be compared to every other Lee Sin on the server, right? Every other Lee Sin on the server, and you can notice where he finds more efficiency. And based off of the stats that whoever has made the program has found to be significant, they'll receive a score. And the accuracy of such a program is largely dependent on how you decipher which stats are significant or not. So it could be like CS at 14, it could be deaths at 10, it could be damage taken, it could be camps taken, whatever. I don't know the specific stats, right? Does it take in consideration stuff like number of autofills and ETC? These are completely irrelevant, right? Because it's champion specific. It's champion specific. As I said, Lee Sin compared to other Lee Sin players. And then you fine tune it, right? You need to have an eye for what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, and then you fine tune it. Does it consider games played? Yes, it does. Of course, once again, I'm not saying that all tools are built the same. Yes, I see, but for example, Kabashev doesn't really try out in solo queue. Well, that's... First and foremost, that's not true. That's not true. He does try out in solo queue. Like, you want to see his Obi.GG right now? Or are you just talking out of your ass? You like to just say random things? The point is, you guys don't get it. The point is, you have to use these things. You have to try to find ways to find certainty. That in itself is insanely difficult. You try to find certainty through the usage of stats, but finding certainty is super fucking hard. But you're trying to get closer to it. And as you're trying to get closer to it, you can still use your eye to find inspiration on where to look. That's the whole point. Like if someone tells me, wow, statistically this player is performing in every metric, I'm gonna be like, okay, let's have a look. Let's take a look at this player. Let's see what's up. And then you can decipher that. It's about coming closer to certainty. And that's it. And that's as much effort as I want to put into this topic. Either they get it or you don't, alright? The usage of stats, you can leverage it to come closer to certainty, and through that pursuit of going closer to certainty, you can easily cut down a lot of time you would spend searching, right? If you can create a tool to present you the 25 best performing solo queue junglers without the usage of the elo, then you can be like, oh, let's have a look here. Who's saying that it automatically translates? You are shadow boxing with ghosts. Did I say that if you're good in solo queue, you're gonna win worlds? Is that what I said? Where did you get that from? This conversation started to explore how XL got Jackies. So they're taking a risk. But yeah, I know very little about this guy. He played in fucking Czech League. Maybe he does good in solo queue, but he's gonna fucking run it down, eh? That's very true. Yeah, well, at one point, solo queue players are gonna be forced to put a butt plug up their ass that is going to measure all their biometric data, and then that together with the solo queue data, they will fucking be able to figure out before they play a game on stage how good they're gonna be. All right, we continue. So XL, I think that Ignar is a great signing. I think Ignar is a very strong player. I think that I had some gripes with Abadagio, so I think it's okay to take a risk here. I think that Peach improved over time. I think it was serviceable, and that's about it. I still wouldn't put Peach over the likes of Razork, Bo, Elioya, you know. So fair play, you know. I think Peach had some good games. I don't want to take that away from him, you know. So I think this is a solid team. All right, Fnatic. So I know very little about June. I heard from people that he's good, but that's all I know. Is this our guy? This is our guy. So we knew that for a lot of teams, Kazi was a target, right? These guys didn't get Kazi. They wanted Kazi. They couldn't get Kazi. I think their idea was to get Kazi, Trimby, and if they couldn't get Kazi, to get Noah and June. That's my understanding, right? Okay, well, I don't know about this dude. No clue. If we look back at Fnatic, right, and their year, I think that you have to give credit to Tromboner for really reshaping the team together with Noah. Because for a long time there, after regular split, Noah was indeed struggling, right? And I think that, you know, the worst case scenario here for Fnatic is that Karzi Ezreal play at Worlds made his market value plummet. So you're just making shit up after I just told you that teams were very interested in him. All right. So I want to just highlight the fact that Trimby and Noah, they really revived this team. You guys remember the time of Rox and Advien? You know, that was some cursed shit for Fnatic. It's very easy to forget the year that Fnatic has gone through. All right? What are Kazi's strengths? He's mechanically really, really fucking good. And everyone who's ever worked with him say that he's really, really easy and wonderful to work with. So that sounds like a pretty fucking hallmark player. So Noah definitely has some growing to do. June, from what I heard, sounds exciting. I think Humanoid and Razork and Oscarinin, that's already like a really solid base. I think Fnatic would be a team that will be very competitive, you know? SK Gaming, irrelevant. Isma, I think Isma. But Isma was the guy who got kicked out of Schalke. You guys remember that shit? He called someone, I believe, subhuman. Sorry guys, I dropped my microphone. I think he just didn't know what... I don't think he knew what that meant, you know? I don't think that he had, like, the understanding of the weight of that word, you know? Like, he really didn't understand the weight of it, and I think he was just fucking talking, you know? But of course, he was on a German org, you know? Like, that shit was... It was very, very bad, you know? Like... I don't think he's fucking... I don't think he's a terrible person, you know? So, he's okay. So I shouldn't have brought it up. I shouldn't have brought it up. He's alright, he's alright. Niski, I feel, honestly, I'm gonna say it, SK upgraded. SK upgraded. I think straight up this SK upgraded. I think BDS downgraded, Mad Lions downgraded. I think XL is like... Depends on how good Jackie is, but I like Ignar, so it's like a little star. This, you know... Fnatic had a really good year, I think. So I think it's gonna be like a challenge there, you know? So maybe June is the GOAT, you know? We'll have to see. I think I don't need to add any comment there, Fnatic, but I think this is upgrade. I think Niski for Certus, I think Niski is a plus. I think Isma is interesting. I think my issue with Markoon was that the guy was good, had really high highs, but he was insanely inconsistent. Why do you think people still rate Irrelevant as the worst top laner? Bro, you need to stop going on Reddit something. Who said that Irrelevant is the worst top laner? You need to change the groups that you're hanging in. Just shadowboxing. We're just shadowboxing, guys. Not like all the tier lists on Twitter. Tier list on Twitter, blood. Stay away, bro. Stay away. Okay. Isma, I think that he had like some solid gameplay, you know? He had some solid gameplay. I think he hit the beats. I think that he was quite crucial in my mind for Movie Star Rider's success. I think he hit the right beats, you know? So I think these are solid signings. I think that Markoon was way too inconsistent and he needs to fucking fix himself there, you know? So I think SK Gaming did a solid job. I feel like SK Gaming, bro, like Mitch, bro, he's playing fucking Football Manager, bro. And he's doing it fucking good. He's playing Football Manager with like some club with no money, you know? And he's doing like the money signings, you know? The sad part for SK is the moment their players are like good enough to win the league, they will join a different team. So we shall see.
Battle cruiser operation.
Yo, I can live and Mr. Flibble. Thank you very much. Alright, Heretics. Heretics did some moves, man. Heretics did some moves. Yeah, where's Peter Dunner? What's going on with your focus on improved shit? Where's the focus on improve shit right there, man? And let's be honest, this is a fucking big ass upgrade. This is a big upgrade. I think it's a big upgrade, but mostly because of Wunder. Let's be honest. Wunder's in the mix. That's a massive upgrade. Massive. I wonder if this is a case of let's give Jankos and Wunder what they want. Because Viteo did a good job, man. Viteo did a good job. Let's be honest. Viteo had a better year last year than Perks. So it's like one of those questions, you know? It's like, you reunite Perks with Jankos and Wunder. I feel like that makes your team... I think that makes your team more dangerous. Like, as a team, if I am competing against Team Heretics, I think a team with Wunder, Jankos, Perks has the potential to be more dangerous to us than a team with Wunder, Jankos, Viteo. That's where I'm at. If I'm competing for some reason. If I'm competing for any reason. If I'm competing for any reason. It is aesthetically, it does look kind of mad that Perks and Kaiser had the worst years of their career and they get to replace two players that probably had like the best splits of their career. A man can dream indeed. But nevertheless, I think across the board though, I think that this is a team that has the potential to do a lot more damage. Viteo's best split was Misfits 100%. No, I think that his best of 5 that he lost was very uninteresting. You're thinking about the regular split, but I think that with the way how playoffs is structured and how far Team Heretics went in the format, I think that that was important. I feel like Winter Spring Perks was as good as Summer Viteo. I can show you some games of Perks playing Aurelion Sol and Lissandra, and you could really change your mind quick. But yeah, it's like Kaiser and Perks, they can still be really good, you know. So, alright. Rouge. Shigenda, Marcoco, Larsen, Comp, Zoelis. My issue with this team is like, this might be a crazy take. It's like people think that Malrang ruined Rogue, but I think that Rogue ruined Malrang. Let me tell you why. I am your father. Malrang got insanely conditioned. Insanely conditioned to always be there for his laners. Insanely conditioned. At some point, they had just gone too far. For sure. Malrang runes, Malrang builds were fucking trash in a lot of cases. But I think that Malrang deserves a lot of credit for helping Rogue reach the peaks that they did. The jungle changes made it that you can't play his playstyle anymore. In the beginning, untrue. In the beginning, you didn't need to clear camps. You really didn't need to clear camps at the beginning. But then they changed it. You remember when you fucking collected biscuits on cooldown? In the beginning, fucking early 2023 jungling was disgusting. You didn't need to clear any camps. But nevertheless, I love that video of Phyllis Flow because it's like in the beginning, and then it's like, and then there's a guy in the crowd or some, like the moderator. He's like trying to help him. He's like, please listen carefully because the crowd is getting like rowdy. Let me just play it.
Genesis 1, verse 1. In the beginning, in the beginning, yeah, in the
Listen properly.
Listen properly.
Beginning, yeah, in the beginning, in the beginning, in the beginning.
Oh, what a G. Bro, someone showed me this. Right, I might just pick up smoking just so I can sound like, ooh, what the fuck, bro? That is crazy. That is brilliant, by the way, brilliant. Okay, back to Rogue. So, I think Zuel is getting signed, bro. He deserves to be in the LEC. I'm gonna tell you that much. I worked with him very briefly, but at that point in my career, I can judge players very fast. I think Zuelis, he has great potential. Great potential. Zuelis deserves to be in the LEC. Where's Parus? Bro, I heard could be completely fucking wrong, okay? Could be completely fucking wrong. Could be speculation. I heard that for Turkish nationals to get work visa is fucking hard in the LEC. That's what I heard. Insanely hard. And Paros is fucking good. Moiden is talking about the player. White. He didn't mean that Zuelis is white. Like, oh my lord. That's crazy. That is crazy. It's like Zuelis and White were my jungle and support for the KC Cup. And then I said, Zuelis is really good, he deserves to be in the LEC. And then the chatter said, White too. And then the other chatter thought, oh, you're saying he's good because he's white? He's just like, what the fuck is this racist shit? Oh, that's fucking funny. Just to make it clear, okay? Like White is a player, bro. But fuck. He played the KC Cup with us. As Aslan. There we go. So we played the KC Cup together here. Hey, they didn't put us in. Why didn't they put us in? or 2022. There we go. Wow, White, Jizuke, DV, Zoelis, YamatoCannon. There we go. There we go. All right. So Zoelis is a great signing. That's a big step up. I think that's already a rock up. I think Rogue needed to make some changes. I think Zoelis is a very good signing. I think this Zoelis comp, very dangerous bot lane. I think comp was an interesting player, you know? I think comp should have been like, comp Karzi upset should have been like the target ADs. So, Larson, solid. My issue here with this team, I feel like this is a team that is going to be way too timid. That's my concern. It's like, my issue with this team is that they don't take any opportunities, they don't take any risks, they are not willing to fucking get themselves dirty. It's like, they lane well, but that's about it, you know? And that has been my concern. You know, like, let me find this game. Like, there was this game where Malrang, let me show you guys this example, okay? I'm such a fucking Malrang apologist. It's crazy. So Malrang played Nocturne. Nocturne, this game. Let me show you guys this game, okay? Koi versus Mad Lions. I even have the moment, okay? So here, this was my issue, okay? With Koi. Look at this moment, okay? So, Malrang,
they don't have the flash on Niski.
Malrang is like, my fucking teammates, okay? They have flash on Kesante, they have all spells in the world, enemy Rakan is dead. He's going. What the fuck is this Leona doing? Why is Kesante not fucking Q3 flashing? Like, why are they not playing the game?
Koi, Mad, 4 versus 5. They don't have the flash on.
He's waiting. He waited here for Shigenda to stack 3.
Niski.
Paranoia's available.
So they go.
Ball is thrown down. The target is Karzi. He's got the red, white, and he's already burned.
Why doesn't Shigenda play? Why doesn't Leona play? They have sums. You know? This was my issue with Koi, is that no one fucking looks for anything. No one's looking for anything.
Koi, Mad, 4 versus 5. They don't have the flash on Niski.
Paranoia's available.
Like, the enemy has no soup, you know? You want to look a turn and fight. He's looking for Q3. This Leona is tethering fucking wrong. You know? It's time to game, you know? It's time to game. It's like Aphelios has no flash for a little window, you know, he wants to go. He wants to go. This reminds me of another game. Let me show you this one. This was, I think this game. Bo. I think it was the last game of Maokai, this one. Fnatic versus Vitality. Was this one? Oh, yes. Oh. Oh. This is also pretty fucking funny.
But it's when you get
So,
to
okay,
that.
so he died level 1. That was just Bo inting. No offense. Bo was just completely running it down.
And CC after CC makes 3 more kills.
Yeah, I remember Perks
All
inted.
6 of the matches so far, they've shown up, they've had impact.
But look at this situation, okay? Look at this situation. Alright, okay, we get the play. Good shit, good shit, good shit, good shit. This moment right here, man. It's coming. The moment where they lose the whole game. I think it's coming here. Here. So here. So let's look at the facts, okay? Xayah has Kraken Slayer. Kraken Slayer Enemy bot lane has only flash on Lulu, no Sam. Here, Bo thinks to himself, there's not a million years, blood, where these guys can walk on us. But there's no vision. There's no vision, man. There's no vision. Kaiser has no vision. Zaya, like fucking fight, bro. Keep in mind here, Kaiser has ult, flash, art, ignite. You guys see this angle. He just gets abandoned, bruv. They just abandon him. What is that? If they are playing around TP, fair play. Could be that they play around TP. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't fucking remember the fact that the TPs came in. Maybe they knew about the TPs. So maybe they're like, yo, they have TPs, bro. They have TPs. We can't go. Maybe it was the TPs. I forgot about the TPs. Fair play. I forgot about the TPs. But this is like an opportunity, you know? You need to squeeze these type of opportunities, you know? I think if they can murder here, they can one-shot, and they can play, you know? Like if they all balls to the walls this situation, maybe it played out good, by the way. It's like this is Kraken, this is Sam, everything ready to go, you know? It's like if they murder them before the TPs come, like then you wouldn't be in the Brazil situation. But okay. I just wanted to bring this point up because it's very timid, you know? Very timid. Nevertheless, I am very excited for Zuelis. I think that's a huge upgrade for them. I think Advian just wasn't it, I think, for playing in the LEC. And Zuelis is a massive upgrade. I think that they needed, even though I defend Malrang on some points, they needed a change up in the jungle. That shit, like, Malrang was playing like he had PTSD or something, you know? Okay. So I preface this by saying I'm going to talk about this as little bias as possible, okay? Because all my friends are on this team. So if you look at this team from the outside, I think the key thing here, right, is that you have the return of Cabo Targamas into the LEC after playing in the LFL, right? Where Cabo and Targamas both had up and down performances, and they're going to have a lot of pressure on their shoulders because K Corp is paying back the loyalty and the effort and the sweat and tears that they committed into the project, right? The same thing for Saken, right? But I put him in a different box because he barely played in the LEC, right? So they are rewarded for their effort because they, just as much as everybody else in KC, they have worked their fucking ass off to make sure that KC has arguments to get into the league, right? They added Bo and Upset. I think Upset works super well here because I think Upset and Kalist are very similar players in a lot of ways, right? They really like that attention. They like to eat resources. They like to pressure forward. They like to play aggressive. I think Targamas and Upset as a pairing could be very interesting. I think Targamas has a more of a timid personality, and I think that works well with Upset as a player because he can be very demanding. And I think Targamas can be very giving when he works with someone demanding. I know that this is someone that Kalist is too, you know? And I think that's super interesting. I think in regards to Cabo side laning, Cabo and Saken side laning, I think the right coach can definitely help them there, you know? Like a coach that like watches their games and like really, really understands them as players. I think that can really, really push them and elevate them to the next level. I think that's where they can get better. I think their methodology in terms of how they figure out their individual matchups and making sure that they have form throughout the year will be like the challenge. I think the key thing, right, for a lot of these guys is that their goal was to get into the LEC for so long, right? And let's say, the experience will be very, very fresh and it will be very exciting. But they need to maintain that level of discipline when the excitement wanes. Because the goal here is to make sure that Saken and Cabo have a long fucking career, right? If you're KC, you want to make sure that Saken, Cabo, Targamas, with the opportunity that they have a long career in LEC, right? So you need to be very careful to pay attention to that detail, that when that initial excitement wanes, this is where discipline wins, right? You need to make sure that you prepare yourself for that. Finally, Bo. I think that any team that signs Bo should do everything in their power to make sure that the team makes Bo succeed. When you sign Bo, you also sign yourself to the idea of making sure that you do everything that you can to make sure that Bo succeeds. Bo is a once in a lifetime player. I know that from watching countless of hours. Countless of hours. The key thing here for Bo is that, let me tell you guys something about shot calling, okay? I think shot calling is something that is misconstrued in a lot of cases. Because the greatest shot callers ever to have played the game are the ones that can convey their ideas in reviews and outside of the game. It is not about telling your teammates what to fucking do in the game. No, it's about what the fuck you're telling them to do outside of the game so they understand your line of thinking. And that is going to be the challenge. How do you make the team buy into the idea of Bo? Because if you looked at FPX, when Bo was annihilating LPL, he was playing with Crispy, he was playing with Doimbi, he was playing with Nuguri and LW fucking X, okay? And he had Coach Steak. Even those players were fully bought in to what Bo was doing. And they commit to it. And he was put in mechanical situations and he was annihilating. So I repeat, any team that signs Bo should do everything to protect that investment. And everyone needs to, you need to make sure that everyone's bought into what Bo wants to do in the game. And that is the main challenge. And I think that overall, I think that there will be this exploration, right, of the identity of this team. And that's something that can take time. I think that this is a team that definitely can be a slow starter, but it will be a sleeping dragon. Because I think that the staff will make sure that the right commitments are made and that everyone really sees the long-term project. And that is to end the year at the highest note fucking possible. Because too many teams fall apart after one weak split. But you need to be able to see the long term, and you need to plan for the long term. And there's a lot of pressure here on the KC players that come in from the previous year. Because this is their moment. This is their moment. But I think if you play it just right, this is a roster that can win the league. KC will be the sleeping dragon. And let me tell you something. "2024 is the year of the dragon." We continue. G2 maintained. Solid for them. I think this is the team to beat. They come in with a year under their belt. They come in with a very good system in place. You know, this is a team that is not going to fall apart. This is the team to beat. I think it's delusional to say anything other than G2 looks like the favorite. They are the team to beat. I can tell you, I personally love it when there's a team that you need to beat. Because then you can fucking put a picture of them on your dartboard and fucking live and breathe running after them. "2021, when G2 hired Reckless." Oh, that was fun. Oh, I wanted to beat them. And I did. People give me shit for my tenure in Fnatic, but I beat G2. And that's what I set out to do. I was 2-1 against G2 in best of fives during my tenure in Fnatic. They didn't beat G2 before that. Besides 2018 with Caps, of course. I'm just saying. Alright. Team Vitality. I think this is a solid roster. Bro, I think Team Vitality getting Mad and Pad as well. And I think it's solid. Very, very solid. I think that's cool. I think this is a competitive roster, man. Like... for me, in my mind, right? Like, if I want to look at the top four, it's like... it's like G2, Fnatic, KC, you know, in no order. And then it's like between Vitality and Heretics. But I think you have to lean towards Heretics just a little bit. No BDS? No, not really. I have to say though, you know, we have some competitive ass teams. It's like I think that we have some competitive teams. A lot of people say the league downgraded though. I don't know about that. I think overall it's pretty upgraded. Like we could have had Astralis here. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, what's his name? Sports guy Fabro. Like Fab. Like he can maybe get some of his players in, bro. I can guess he can get some players in for like a big part of. I thought it was funny. It's like a lot of the players that were signed under here, they don't have a team currently. Trying to find them. I think it was like Finn. There's Trimby. Where the rest? Where the rest? No, Bo has the same agent as me. As far as I know. We're in the same agency. Finn not playing is strange. Finn is one of those players that can get into action, you know? How'd you know? Bro, it's in his fucking Twitter bio, bro. Fucking you guys are talking about it as if it's some secret. You want me to do a tier list? Alright. Let's do a tier list. Where the fuck is a new one? Okay. Ibai. Ibai is trying to be funny, but he's cooking. He's trying to be funny, but he's cooking. You know? The fuck is this? All right. So let's be honest. Let's be honest, yeah? Let's be honest. 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 Let's be fucking honest, eh? The NPCs. Just stepping stones. Stepping stones. Just stepping stones. A footnote. A footnote. G2 can be here. G2 can be here. This is what's up. This is what's up. Astralis? Well, yes. Casey bought the spot from Astralis. A footnote. That's what's up. I hope that Casey will work every fucking hour, minutes, every working day with the intention to become the absolute best team in the league. There's no other way to live. There's no other way to breathe. There is no other way to simply fucking exist, ladies and gentlemen. Sleeping dragons. Patience. And you shall be rewarded. Let's see now. Sheep Esports. Can I search? Karmine. Okay, cool. Damn, what a signing! Damn! I had the honor. You know, the reason I say this is such a good signing, let me tell you, okay? I have personal experience speaking to Stake because we bootcamped with RNG back in 2019. Back in 2019, we bootcamped with RNG and I got to speak with Stake for a very long time. And we bonded well. So I know he's a great guy, a great dude. He worked with Bo, and that's the Casey angle they're going for here. Casey's going for the angle to have someone to communicate the ideas of Bo to the rest of the team and really, really bring the LPL perspective. His English is clean, by the way. Clean English. Better than Cabo. Casey really did a good move here. Who's the head coach? Did they leak it? It is not leaked. It's not leaked, guys. Damn. That's gonna be an exciting one. That's gonna be an exciting one.